They say the most dangerous choices are the ones that whisper instead of shout. Mine whispered through lace and leather, promising pleasure at a price I was finally ready to pay. "Hey girl, get your ass over here," my manager's voice cracked, like a whip across the clatter of dishes. His tone was as gruff as ever, but I'd worked here long enough to know there was a trace of sugar in the bark. I wiped my hands on my apron and rushed to the counter. The summer sun burned through the windows of the cafe, turning everything into a golden blur. I'd been working weekday morning shifts all break instead of the usual weekend hustle, saving every dollar, scraping toward a goal no one else knew about. Not my friends, not my parents, no one. The money wasn't just to survive college, it was for a fantasy, a secret I had nursed since high school. I wanted to join a sex club, not just any club, but the Pleasure Palace, a place whispered about on forums and message boards, hidden beneath layers of anonymity and indulgence. A BDSM den that called to me like a siren, coming from a tight-knit village in Abakaliki, where conversations about sex were buried under shame and tradition. I never dared admit how curious I truly was. My parents weren't wealthy, but they gave me everything they could. Love, dignity, education. They carried the weight of my dreams without ever asking what those dreams really were, but this was mine alone. 2 years ago, I moved to Asaba as a transfer student. The city opened up a new world. It pulsed with energy and opportunity. Still, it took me this long, 2 full years, to work up the courage to step out of my shell. Tonight, I wasn't the shy village girl anymore. I was fire wrapped in lace. Desire given legs. I was going to that club, and I was going alone. The hours ticked by. Every customer's order, every coffee refill, every dropped plate was just noise. All I could think about was the club, the name, the idea, the promise of giving in to something raw, primal, and real. By the time my shift ended, my body was already reacting. Wet heat soaked into my panties just from imagining the place. I raced home, showered, and dressed slowly, deliberately. Underneath a long trench coat, I wore a deep red lingerie set, complete with a corset that cinched my waist, lifted my chest, and kissed every curve. A garter belt ran down to my stockings, and I slid my feet into sleek stilettos that made my legs stretch forever. I stood before the mirror, studying myself. "You are a confident, sexy woman who takes control of her desires," I whispered. "Say it, until it's true," and then I left. The city air was thick with anticipation. My heart pounded as I approached the entrance, a dark, heavy door tucked away in a quiet corner of the city. A bouncer stood in front, tall, arms crossed, unreadable. I froze. Every doubt came rushing in at once. What if this was a mistake? What if I wasn't ready? But I had dreamed of this too long. I clenched my fist, stepped forward. "Your ID," he said. I pulled out my student ID with hands steadier than I felt. He studied it, then handed it back. "Dress code?" "Yes," I replied, voice level. "I need to confirm." I swallowed, hard. This was the first test. I reached for the buttons of my coat, unfastening them one by one. With every click, my confidence grew, or maybe my shame shrank. When I pulled it open, revealing the tight red corset and the lingerie beneath, I heard nothing but the thump of my heart in my ears. The bouncer barely glanced. Just a quick look, then he nodded and opened the door. No reaction, no hunger, no praise. A strange disappointment twisted in my gut. Wasn't I worth a second look? But then I reminded myself, this was their job. And maybe that's what made this place so seductive. It wasn't about being seen. It was about being known. Inside was another world, dark walls lit with slow, pulsing lights, music like the beat of a lover's heart. Low voices, laughter, the soft clink of glasses. My heels clicked softly as I walked in, chest out, fear swallowed like wine. A tall brunette in a sleek dress greeted me at a desk near the entrance. She was elegance incarnate, perfect posture, zero expression. "Welcome to the Pleasure Palace," she said. "Hi," I replied, swallowing. I heard you had an open house tonight. She looked me over. Judgment flickered behind her lashes. We do, she said. I'll take your coat and then you'll be assigned a host for the evening. They'll give you a tour, answer any questions, and explain our rules. I nodded, but her next words made me freeze. Also your phone. No photos, we take privacy seriously here. I handed it over with a trembling hand. Then slowly I slipped off my coat. A gust of cool air hit my skin. Goosebumps rose like braille across my arms. I had never felt more naked, yet oddly, never more seen. The woman didn't smile. She hung the coat and turned. Follow me. We moved down a hallway that stretched like a secret. The music grew louder. Every step echoed in my mind. Could I really do this? Was I really here? Yes, I was. The hall had almost no furniture, just strange, haunting paintings of masked lovers and leather-bound limbs. It felt like entering a forbidden temple. At the end stood another oak door. She knocked. Twice. I had to lock my knees from buckling. This was it. The threshold to the world I had only dared to imagine. I was no longer the quiet girl from the village. I was a woman stepping into the dark, ready to see who she could become. The door opened with a low groan like the moan of someone being teased too long. Inside was velvet and shadow. Dim lamps pooled golden light onto leather chairs, silver cuffs, long silk ropes coiled like serpents. I caught glimpses of bodies. Some barely dressed, some fully clothed, but all draped in power or submission. The woman guiding me didn't enter. She simply turned and said, "He's waiting for you." Then she vanished into the dark hallway, leaving me breathless and trembling. Before I could wonder too much, I heard it. A voice. Smooth, deep, rich. The kind that didn't just enter your ears, it slipped beneath your skin and wrapped around your spine. "Close the door," he said. I obeyed. Walked to the center. Slowly. I stepped forward. The plush rug beneath my heels muted every sound, and the warmth in the room made the skin between my thighs slick with anticipation. But I couldn't see him. I turned slightly, lips parted, heart thumping. I said slowly, "His." Tone wasn't loud, but it left no room for disobedience. I slowed. Every step made my nipples harden inside the corset, rubbing against lace with delicious friction. I felt exposed, though no one touched me. My body was reacting to control, pure vocal command. When I reached the center, a single spotlight turned on above me. I gasped. Light spilled over me like a confession. It caressed the curve of my breasts, my hips, the slight tremble in my thighs. I was on display, and somehow I loved it. "Do you know why you're here?" His voice asked again. I wanted to experience this," I whispered. Wrong answer. My stomach dropped. I mean, I want to learn closer. What? Your voice. Closer. I want to hear it from your knees. The words sent a jolt of electricity between my legs. I sank to my knees on the velvet rug, eyes wide, mouth dry. My body didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt like a flame waiting to be touched. "I'm here," I whispered. "Better," he said. Still, I couldn't see him. I could only hear him, feel the way he watched me from the dark. "Look at your hands," I did. "Clasp them behind your back." I obeyed. "Now keep your chin up. You're not ashamed. You're curious. Brave." Something in me shifted. I did, as he asked. Not out of fear, but because I wanted to. I wanted to know what came next. "You've waited for this, haven't you?" he asked. "Yes," I breathed. "All your life?" I hesitated. "Yes." "Say it louder." "All my life." And suddenly I felt him behind me. I didn't hear his footsteps, I didn't feel a breeze, but I felt him, his heat, his dominance, his silence. He didn't touch me, just walked around me like a lion circling prey. "You're not here to be used," he said. You're here to be awakened. His hand brushed my shoulder. Just one fingertip. My whole body convulsed in a soft moan. You're responsive, he murmured. That's good. It means you listen. His finger moved from my shoulder to my neck, then stopped. But you're still holding back. I swallowed hard. He leaned down close to my ear. Tonight you'll learn how to let go. I shivered. Yes, sir. He chuckled. Quick learner. He moved again, this time toward the front of me. My eyes flicked up. Finally, I saw him, tall, dressed in black. No mask, just sharp features and sharper eyes that held centuries of knowing. His lips curved into something between a smile and a challenge. Do you have a safe word? He asked. Yes, I said. What is it? Cinnamon. Good. Use it only if you need to, not if you're scared. There's a difference. He pulled a stool toward me and sat down, legs spread, hands resting on his knees. Crawl to me. I hesitated. He tilted his head. Or we can end this now. No. Then crawl. I dropped my gaze, my breath catching as my palms pressed against the carpet. I moved toward him slowly, sensually, each movement deliberate. He didn't flinch, just watched, like a king receiving tribute. When I reached him, I stopped between his knees. Touch my boots. I did. Now kiss them. I pressed my lips gently to the smooth leather. You're very good at following instructions, he said softly. But how are you with limits? I don't know yet, I admitted. That's honest. I like honesty. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from my face. It was the first tender touch, and it made my throat tighten. This world isn't about pain. It's about power, consent, trust. I nodded. Stand, he said. I rose shakily to my feet. Now remove your corset. Slowly. Let me see you. All of you. My hands trembled. My fingers reached for the back hooks. I loosened them one by one, each breath growing faster. Finally, the corset slid off. My breasts spilled free. I stood half naked in front of him, wearing nothing but a garter belt, heels, and sheer stockings. His eyes didn't leer. They devoured. You're beautiful, he said. And brave. I didn't feel beautiful. I felt terrified. But in his eyes I saw something, respect, hunger, control. It made me bold. Can I ask your name? He leaned back, a smirk on his lips. You'll earn it.